So in section 1.5, we are talking about an average rate of change. And the key phrase there is really the three words rate of change. You are familiar with rate of change. Does anybody know what rate of change has been for you in the past? Brian, you say? Slope, yes. Okay, it's normally, we don't call it an average rate of change because slope is constant. So it's a constant rate of change or just the rate of change for a line. It's always the same thing. Like when you do slope and you're drawing a line, you could go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. It's always the same. We are talking about average rate of change today for graphs that are nonlinear. So they're not straight lines. They don't have a constant rate of change. I have 2 points marked on this curve right here. And between those 2 points, there are different places where the slope may be steeper than it is at other places, like as it approaches its maximum and slows down. Okay? So when we want to calculate the average rate of change, essentially what we are doing is calculating the slope between the 2 points on that curve. Now notice, the line I drew between the 2 points doesn't match the curve exactly. So it's not the rate of change at every single point, it's the average rate of change between the 2 points. Okay? The study of the slope at every single point is really what you do in calculus with derivatives. Okay? So first things first, average rate of change is the slope of the line through any 2 points in a nonlinear graph. The reason we're clarifying nonlinear graph is if it was linear, it would just be a rate of change or a constant rate of change because it's always the same. Awesome part of average rate of change, it's a slope, and you already know how to calculate slope. We reviewed it in our warm-up. So I have a formal definition here for slope. It's kind of out of sorts. Let me get it all in the same line here. And there is a small change with the numerator. Instead of y minus y, we've replaced it with the function notation. But remember, function notation is just a fancy way to write y. So really, it's the same slope formula you've always used. And you might even shorten it instead of memorizing a brand new formula, just think change in y over change in x. Essentially, that's what you're doing. So f of x sub 2 minus f of x sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Change in my y values over the change in my x values. And we'll look at an example. Homework problems tonight are going to look something like this. It's going to ask you find the average rate of change, which I'm going to abbreviate ARC or ARC. Okay, find the average rate of change for the function f of x equals x cubed minus 3x. And then it's going to request over a particular interval. Okay, so this is just the interval picked by the textbook or by Ms. Cronky. We could change those x values and find different rates of change along the function. Okay, so we're going to do from x sub 1 equals negative 2 to x sub 2 equals negative 1. When you think about the average rate of change or the slope formula, you want change in y over change in x. So we already have the x's, but we need the y's. Thank you. And now we're going to do basically what Elena was asking about from the summer packet, which is function notation, just a direct substitution. So I'm going to first calculate f of negative 2. So that's my x sub 1. What is the function when x is negative 2? Substitute negative 2 everywhere you see x. and evaluate. That'll be -8 plus 6. So f of -2 is also -2. Then I repeat that for f of -1. I need the other y value, so I'm going to do f of -1 equals, so now substitute -1 everywhere I see x. That's just what function notation is asking, right? F of x is not a mathematical thing, it's just a fancy way to write y. That'll be -1 plus 3, so that's a +2. And now I'm ready for average rate of change. So find the difference in my y values or my f of x values. So I'm going to do 2 minus -2. And since I did 2 minus -2, I'm going to have to do -1 minus -2 for my x's. That gives me 4/1, which simplifies to 4. The average rate of change between the 2 points is 4. I thought for sure that my later alphabet was over there. I'm excited to learn your last names too soon. Any questions on the average rate of change so far? Yes, Hannah.
F of -2 equals -2. Could you write that as like a point?
Yes. So x sub 1, and then this is your f of x sub 1 or your y sub 1. So you could write -2, -2, and then this one would be -1, 2. Good question. Anything else? Okay, here's your homework assignment. I think you'll probably be able to get this page 57 done for Monday. I'm not going to pick it up, so if you want to include it with your notes or in a notebook where you're not going to tear out, that's totally fine. And I'm going to pass out 2 things to you, the Successful Math Student and the 8 Basic Function sheet.